Bingley Five Rise opened on the 21st of March in 1774, and it was a major feat of engineering at the time. And when the locks and therefore the canal from Gargrave to Fackley was opened in 1774, a large crowd of 30,000 people turned out to celebrate, and the first boat passed through to use the locks took just 28 minutes. The Five Rise is the steepest flight of locks in the UK, a gradient of about 1 in 5. That's a rise of 59 feet and 2 inches, or just over 18 metres over a distance of 320 feet. That's 98 metres. And the intermediate and bottom gates are the tallest in the entire country. So join me in this video as we celebrate 250 years of the Bingley Five Rise locks, as we get on board a wide beam boat and head up the flight to the very top. Hello, welcome to Bingley, West Yorkshire, and 250 years ago on this very day, the Leeds and Liverpool Canal opened the Bingley Five Rise lock, the steepest locks in Britain, and 2 of them are the deepest in Britain with the tallest gates. But I'm at the top of the locks now, but our journey begins on this wide beam boat just here. That's Helen's Drum just there. And I'm going to take you back to where this began. I'm going to take you to the bottom of the flight, and we're going to make our way up the lock flight, all 5 of them. We've got a skipper, Mike the skipper, hell of a guy. We're going to go up, and I shall see you back here, and we'll talk about the locks, how they were built, when they were built, and a lot of historical stuff too. Now in the bottom chamber. Not only is this flight of locks the steepest in Britain, the lowest pound also has the tallest gates, the lowest pound and the intermediate gates as well. Some of the tallest in England, absolutely phenomenal. You can see the rate at which we're going up. If I point you forward, not very fast, is it? You're looking at around about a turnaround time of about 45 minutes to get from the bottom to the top, as each pound is individually filled for us to proceed forward on this very fine wide beam boat. So the water is at the correct level now for us to proceed into the second lock chamber. 320 feet in length, the entire flight of locks this is, and 56 foot just over. Hello Martin. The Five Rise consists of 5 locks connected without intermediate ponds, and the lower gate of each chamber forms the upper gate of the chamber below. There are therefore 5 chambers and 6 gates. What we're doing now, Mike the skipper is being careful that the rear fender doesn't even clip on one of those tiny little bolts on the gate, because you hear about the sills coming down and catching on them and causing issues with the boat and coming down at an angle, but it could also happen at the other end, not on a sill but just on minor areas where they can get trapped and cause your boat to tip. Nice little arty shot there, look. So we've got another wide beam coming in, taking another trip up just below us, and as we empty the locks, the pounds that we're in, eventually that will then help this one come up and it will fill up the pounds below us. Now every once in a while, lock gates need to be maintained, repaired or even replaced, and since 2012 the Canal and River Trust have been caring for this 250-year-old lock flight and the 2,000-mile long network here in the UK. A lot of these canals would be left to fall into disrepair, but thanks to incredible work of teams and volunteers and generosity of supporters like yourself, canals are used and loved more than ever before. I'll put links in the video description of how you can help support the Canal and River Trust.
And mentioning Bingley over there, another interesting thing is that between the 5 locks and the 3 locks, the Bingley free flight down there, 60% of all the listed buildings on the entire canal are between here and there. That's unbelievable, isn't it?
So we're going to come off now and we're going to watch Helen's Drum go through into the 3rd chamber. You see the gates are pretty much about to open. There we go, look. Let's run around and we'll see her coming through. Stood directly above the 3rd chamber. It's absolutely phenomenal. Look how far down Helen's Drum is. Everybody else is stood at the back with Mike the skipper, and we're going to head up here now. These gates here, look how far down that is. That is absolutely unbelievable, isn't it? They are amongst the tallest in the entire UK, leading into the 4th pound above. There they are down there waving to you. If you look in the distance, you can see the mills at Bingley. There's a great big chimney just there. Helen's Drum is now roughly about halfway up the centre lock chamber, right behind where the gates are that I've just been showing you just there. And the lock keepers are having to empty this 4th pound up from the bottom, and that is in turn filling up the 3rd chamber that Helen's Drum is now coming up. So another thing to note is the paddle gear on these lock gates are quite different to what you'd see on the majority of the network. Not only have we got the horizontal gear just there, but look at this. And there's even a little bit of artwork in there, look. And you wind these around to lift up the paddles at the bottom, then letting the water out into the chamber directly below. And we get so used to coming up these flights of locks around the canal network and just going through the countryside with diesel propulsion, but it's hard to imagine the times when this had been done with a horse on the towpath. Quite remarkable how it used to be back when the canals were first in operation. Now the centre chamber has been filled and we're leaving it behind. The other boat is just coming into the 2nd one. You can just see it just there. I'll turn you around. Look at these little overflows that they have in every single pound that goes over into a main chute going along the side. Now this one's not as deep as the one that we've just been in, but it still looks rather daunting upon approach. We had some water coming along the edge of the boat down the top onto the floor and then back into the canal. That is because these locks are so short at 62 feet and this boat is a 58-foot long wide beam.
So when you get a little bit too close and there's quite a bit of spray and overfill coming in from the pound above, which I can show you like that, inevitably it can hit the front, and a lot of it goes down the front into the deck. But there's no problems there because they will have those little cutouts in the bottom for the water to escape, and the excess of it coming down here and running along and off the side. Section of canal above the top lock heading up towards Skipton, that was opened first by 1770. Now the locks at this point were being built, and you can basically see the locks pretty much, they cling to the side of the hill going down there with Bingley over there. It's just clinging to the side of the canal as it goes further off towards Leeds. Here we go into the fifth and final pound. It took us around about 30-35 minutes since we cast it off from the bottom. This isn't as deep as the other four. It's pretty much like your normal standard lock. Not as daunting as the others. There's the view looking back. You can still see that huge mill at the back, look. So we've made it to the very top. I just jumped off so we could see Helen's Drum come out the other end. It also has to go through a swing bridge just there that they've just opened. That's bridge number 200. So he's coming into the top lock just like Jack Sparrow. Hello! So he's having a bit of an extra ride on that, but the boat is going to go a little further up here and turn around, and it'll make the journey back down again most likely once this is done. Now the work to get the Leeds Liverpool Canal didn't just stop at Bingley 5 Rise, because behind me there's 3 more. So there's actually 8 going along this section of the canal. And this is the section where all those listed properties are between the 3 and the 5. Let's go and take a closer look. So nice little swing bridge there again, look, and you can see the top lot. They're not as deep and they're not as steep as the 5. Look at that, the old mill and the chimney still standing behind, look. And these gates have still got that horizontal winding mechanism on them, look, the size of that going along there. So I'm going to finish off by showing you another item on the canal, designed by James Bingley, and the work was carried out by John Longbottom. Completed in 1773 was the Seven Arches Aqueduct, carrying the canal, the Leeds Liverpool Canal, over the River Aire and off towards Leeds. It's not far down here. Let's go finish off and take a little look. When the navvies and the engineers that were in charge of building the canal and it reached the western end just before Dowley Gap, they had a huge problem of getting across the River Aire. So one of the country's leading engineers, that was James Bingley. Well, he solved the problem with this, the Seven Arches Aqueduct, and it was built by local stonemasons James Rhodes of Shipley, Jonathan Sykes of Alton and Joseph Smith of Woodsford, and it carried the canal 30 foot above the river. So this is what it looks like down below. Got the River Aire flowing through those 2 arches just there, but the rest of them, they dried over there, look, but in times of flooding they would be used. Built in 1773 for the canal, and this section of the canal opened in 1774. So I really do hope you enjoyed that video and little look at the Bingley 5 Rise celebrating its 250th birthday. And, you know, with the help of you, volunteering, donations and the Canal and River Trust, it could go on for another 250 years and beyond, can't it? If it could do a first 250, it could stay around for a lot longer, but it needs your support. I'll put the relevant links in the end where you can donate, help out, even get in touch and see what events are going on, so you can visit these events and thus support the Canal Network and the Canal and River Trust.
So thanks to all those over 250 years ago that created and constructed this fabulous piece of engineering, the Bingley 5 Rise, and also to the Canal and River Trust for keeping these places alive and operational for future generations. Thanks to all those that joined me on this adventure and little look around the Bingley 5 Rise, and to those that we met along the way. Please like, subscribe and comment below, and you can join me on all the social medias popping up at the screen down below: Instagram, Facebook, X and also TikTok. See you in the next one. Bye bye.